When you say you want to recognize your value, you are saying you want to recognize your supremacy. When you say you want to recognize your supremacy, it means you want to recognize the solution in which you are the best, suitable, preferable, and fitted solution for. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why is it that at the end of it all, everybody usually recognizes the power of God as a supreme power that is able to deliver, save, or intervene? Whether people recognize it at the end of themselves, that is when they have tried everything, or at the beginning of a situation, or in the middle, at the end of the day, people recognize the supremacy of God. I don't know if you have asked yourself that question. At the end of it all, people always come to that place whereby they seek that God should intervene. This tells us something, that this is the value of God. God's ability to remain supreme over anything, over everything altogether. If this is the case, that God is valuable because of his supremacy, it is very, very interesting for us to note then that God has distributed himself into different pieces, and these pieces are called people. You and I. Even though there are other things he created, animals, they all have their own value, but let's focus on people. So God is supreme. This supremacy has been derived as his value. That is, God is valuable. Now, this value that God is valuable has been shared to every person. Because God is valuable, nothing can be created without it carrying the signature of God, which is value. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Are you understanding? So if people carry the signature of God, which then makes everything what? Valuable. So it means that there is nobody on earth that God has created that is not what? Valuable. Thank you. Everybody is valuable. Everybody and everybody on earth, whether the cripple, the hunchback, the poor, the rich, the bowed, the hairy, the white, the black, the red, the gold, the baby, everybody carries value. Everybody carries value. So once I say everybody is valuable, I mean everybody carry value. What is the value? Everybody carries a level of supremacy that God has created. Supremacy meaning that you are the best, suitable, preferable, and fitted solution to a given problem. God is supreme in everything, meaning in every area and in everything. If you call on God, he fits into the situation, and he has been able to break that his supremacy, that is value, into people. So this value is the supremacy of God, and this supremacy of God means a solution. You are the best, suitable, preferable, fitted solution to a particular problem. So that means that you are a solution. You are a solution to a problem. So let me give you some simple problems and simple solution. You want to build a garden, you call a gardener. You want to maintain it, you call a gardener. The gardener carries a creative intelligence to create beauty. Same thing with people that are doing horticulture. You might undermine it like, it's not a solution. Let that gardener be missing for 6 weeks. Then you will know that there's a solution that is missing. There will be a problem instantly. So your gardener is the best suitable, preferable, fitted solution for your garden. Same thing to a cleaner. So when I speak about solution, do not just start thinking about global problem alone. A mother, a woman is the best suitable, preferable, fitted solution when it comes to giving birth, raising a child, breastfeeding a child. A woman. When it becomes becoming a father, a man is the best suitable, preferable, fitted solution for that. So problems are always around us. Sometimes we underestimate it. We want the tech solution, the fintech solutions. And there are basic problems that God has actually exposed us to, that we are the best suitable, preferable, fitted solution for it. So, when you say you want to recognize your value, you are saying you want to recognize your supremacy. When you say you want to recognize your supremacy, it means you want to recognize the solution in which you are the best suitable, preferable, and fitted solution for. So, what are the 3 key things you must do to find your value? To find what you are supreme in, to find what you are the solution for, to find what sometimes I call God of the arena. Meaning there is a space, there is an industry, there is a particular thing in which God has deposited himself into you, that you can become his representative. You can become God there in that industry, in that space. You can become God of a particular arena. The first thing you need is value recognition. Value recognition. So sit down. What is your value? What value do you have? You have to check things like your friendship, your relationship, past record, things you have done, things that always come to your mind, to sit down to be able to recognize your value. So ways to recognize your value. Number 1, you might need to do a survey. Talk to people. What are the things I've helped you to do in this life? What are the things you have observed that I always talk about, I always bring to your notice? You might sometimes need to also ask, what are the conversations we always have? What are we always going around? You might also need to check your journals. You might need to check your Google search history. What are the things I always ask? You might need to check your ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to tell you. What are the conversations we always ask? They might like your value. What are the things that get me angry, on my toes? You might need to take some personality tests and find out this, what your value is. It is when you are able to recognize your value, then we can have a conversation around value capitalization. There's a value of somebody who is always speaking interest in taking care of a garden. I'm a creative. My level of creativity is bringing beauty to the architectural environment of a space. I've been able to see that I love creativity, but my creativity is all about gardens. So You now capitalizing on it is you being able to say, I want to build a business, a service, a product for this kind of people within this space, this area, and this solution. You being able to crystallize it, put it together, and sell it is what we call value capitalization. But this is where the major work is. This is like business development. When this is not done, then we cannot go to the third level, which is value transmission. Value transmission is simply saying, I've been able to recognize a solution that I'm good at, something I'm supreme at, something that I can, the part of God in me can shine. I've been able to say, okay, this is what it's going to be. Transmission simply means me selling it, branding, communication, content. Every value has a unique way of selling it because the audience you're rendering it for is different, and you must be very careful how you communicate it. There are teachers. Some are in primary, some are in school, some are in training rooms. How you sell the three of them, they are very different. They are all valuable, but their value is communicated differently. It's differently. I'll give you a simple story. There were two people who were interested in going into a particular business. They wanted to create a value called entertainment. So they both have the same idea of entertaining people. They both actually wanted to create a game space where there'll be popcorn and it will have a touch of cinema. One wanted to focus on the student environment. The other wanted to focus on the people on the road, on the streets. Anybody can simply come. Their communication will be very different. Very, very. Because one will have to appear in a elite and professional form. The other one has to be different in a kind of certain way. So do you know what they did? The one that was focusing more on students started showing more of movies, American movies. The other one was not showing American movies. The one was showing more of Nigerian-based movies, and brought in a bar like pepper soup and all this thing. This one brought in popcorn, movies, kind of like mocktail, all those things like that. And the way they sold it was different. Same idea, same value, but different audience. That made the communication different. So this is why you must avoid copying people, and you must stick to how you must communicate. So somebody who is a gardener and decide to create maybe horticultural company and all those things like that, and start sharing flyer, run ads. But all those aboki and all those people, they are gardeners, quote unquote, because they are clearing your environment, they are taking care of it, they are bringing creativity, not through intelligence but through strength. Have you ever viewed it that way? It's creativity, but it's through strength. They will cut. They are creating space for you to do your plan. But their own capitalization and their own transmission is different. How do they do? You see them put their hole on their chest like this with their sack. That's marketing for them. Once you see them, you already know that these are the people that can clear. They are both gardeners. They recognize the value of they want to create, but their capitalization and transmission is very different. So you must sit down to find this. But let me dwell a little bit more on this. Everybody has value. There is nobody that does not have value. You have to be lazy or extremely confused for you to think that you don't have value. And it is this inability to recognize value sometimes that make people to resort into some other things. So imagine, take for instance a lady who believes that everybody that just comes to her just wants to sleep with her. She believes that the only value she can create is in between her legs. that there is nothing upstairs, whether creative, intuitive, analytic, whether it is even a highway intelligence or a pedestrian intelligence, there is nothing in this world that she can offer anybody in exchange for the value of money other than her legs. That thing is actually very hurtful because everybody has value. And when I see these things, I usually wonder, why? So you must sit down to find this. What is my value? And it might be very, very hard for people I call coat of many colors. Who are the people that I call coat of many colors? The multi-gifted people. The multi-gifted. It might be very hard for them. Why? Because they want to judge their value based on their gifts. Oh, I can sing, I should be a musician. Oh, I can design, I should be this, I can be that. For everybody that is multi-gifted, look for a loop that ties every of your gift and talent and passion together. It is within that loop that you will realize that there is a singular value that you can offer. There's a singular value you can offer. And actually, I don't mind helping as many as multi-gifted people to actually help them find their value. So when you find that value might stay useless, not make any impact, not bring any income if you don't make it a business. That is what we call capitalization. So value plus business is value capitalization. And if your value becomes a business and it is not branded or communicated, it will stay hidden forever. So without this, your value is hidden. Without your value becoming a business, you become unstructured, you become random, and there will not be growth. Without you recognizing your value, you become unfulfilled, unsatisfied in life. So it is very, very important for you to sit down and ask yourself, how valuable am I? The kind of value you offer, the people you offer it to, even determines your income and the way people perceive you. Does anybody have any question for me?